So now we will start with learning problems. So for the learning problem activity, we will take an example of checkers game. So a computer program is set to learn from the experience, and the basically to perform a particular task, and the performance measure is P. And Basically we did previously also that whenever a computer program is taught something repetitively, then it learns from that thing, and the performance measure increases with each iteration. So here we take an example of a computer program that learns to play checkers might improve its performance as measured by its ability to win at the class of tasks involving playing checkers game. Now we can take other examples also, like we just did a checkers learning problem. We can also take a handwriting recognition learning problem. So one more thing that you have to keep in mind, that we must identify three features of a well defined learning problem. Those three features are the class of task, the measure of performance to be improved, and the source of the experience. So here we are taking a handwriting recognition learning problem. So the task is recognizing and classifying handwritten words with images. Performance measure P is the percent of words correctly identified or classified, and the training experience is a database of handwritten words with given classifications. So yeah, these three points are to be kept in mind for every model. You have to identify the task, the performance measure, and the training experience. So we also have a robot driving learning problem. So it is also worked. It has been also worked in the same manner. We have a task, a performance measure, and a training experience. And you need to remember that these are the important factors of a learning problem. Then we can come to certain successful applications of ML, like learning to play world class backgammon. So there is a world's top computer program for backgammon, which is TD Gammon. It has learned its strategy by playing over 1 million practice games against itself. So this tells us that for one of the best programs to be developed, we need to train it over 1 million times. Now it plays at a level with human world champion. So this is the one of the most successful applications of ML. Then we also have learning to recognize spoken words. This is a system called Sphinx. This is based on neural network model, and this also recognizes the spoken words easily and then classifies it. Then we also have a driving vehicle, which is also it has been many methods have been used to train computer control vehicles. So the one such example is the Alvin system. It learned different strategies to drive unassisted at 70 miles per hour for 90 miles on public highways among other cars. Similar techniques have possible applications in many sensor based control problems. Now we will design a learning system for ourselves. So let's suppose we have to design a program to learn to play checkers. So the main thing that we have to keep in mind are the 3 points: task, performance measure, and training experience. So the 3 points are: the task is to play checkers, the performance measure is to the percent of games won in the world tournament, then training experience is games played against itself. Now we need to choose the correct training experience. The type of training experience available can have a significant impact on success or failure of a learner. So this is basically it also happens in real life, that whatever training experience you go through, it leaves a great impact on your success or failure in that training. Now first key attribute is whether the training experience provides direct or indirect feedback regarding the choice made by the performance system. So a training experience can either provide a direct or an indirect feedback. Then when we are learning from direct training feedback, it is typically easier than when we are learning from indirect feedback. Then we have choosing the training experience. So a second important attribute of the training experience is that degree to which the learner controls the sequence of training examples. So again we have to keep in mind that how do we want to train our computer. So there are basically three situations in which we can treat our computer. First one is that the learner might be completely dependent on the teacher. So the teacher is only giving the board states, and teacher is only providing the correct move for each of the board states. So that is one situation. The other situation is that the learner is just coming to the teacher when it is confused. So it brings the certain board states in which it is confused, and then it asks that I am not able to understand this particular board state, and can you help me? So this is the second state. The third state is that the learner has the complete control over its learning. So it plays against itself and there is no teacher present, so it is basically teaching itself. Then the third important attribute of the training experience is how well it represents the distribution of examples over which the final system performance must be measured. So for example, the learner might never encounter a certain crucial board states that are very likely to be played by the human checkers champion. So to overcome this, or to keep this attribute in mind, we need to ensure that whatever data set we are providing is very vast and it is covering a variety of situations, so that the our model is able to learn whatever comes to is able to tackle whatever comes to its path. So in practice, it is often necessary to learn from a distribution of examples that is somewhat different from those on which the final system will be evaluated. So we should always have something other than the generic models, like generic examples. So we should give our model something which has not been done before, or which is not a very common situation, so that it is able to learn in those situations. Then comes choosing the target function. The next design choice is to determine exactly what type of knowledge will be learned. So this is also very important. We need to choose the target function very cautiously. Now how this will be used by the performance program is: begin with a checkers playing program that can generate the legal moves from any board state. So suppose sorry suppose we start with a checkers playing program, so and we provide a certain board state to it. So board state means that some moves have already been played, and some of the pieces are not in their initial states. So now what will you and you are stuck in some kind of situation, so what move will you take to get out of that situation, or even to win? So that is the board state, and with that board state as input, we need to choose the best move from among these legal moves. So we can use a function choose move, and the notation will be choose move colon b arrow m. So this symbol is not visible, but it is actually an arrow which is pointing from b towards m. So b points to m is the representation or notation to indicate that this function accepts as input any board from the set of legal board states and produces as output some move from the set of legal moves m. Then an alternative target function, which is a better approach, and it is easier to learn, because in this the function assigns numerical score to any given board state. So the target function v, and again we use the same notation. V is b gives r. So here r is the you can say that r gives the score or something like that to the board state. So to denote that v maps any legal board state from the set b to some real value, what exactly should be the value of the target function v for any given board state? So of course, any evaluation function that assigns higher scores to better board states will do. So to implement this function v, we need to check the board state, and if it is a better board state, like if the move we have played is correct and we are winning, then we can provide a better score to that, a better priority, that this, if this kind of situation occurs, we have to use this move because it is making our end result better. Then we have to define the target value v of b for an arbitrary board state small b in capital B. So this will be, if b is a final state, then we have 1. So and in which we have 1, so the v of b will be 100. If b is the final state in which we have lost, the v of b can be minus 100. If the uh, game has been drawn, then v of b can be 0. So if b is not a final state in the game, then v of b is equal to v of b dash. So where b dash is the best final board state that can be achieved starting from b and playing optimally until the end of the game. So suppose you have played a game once before, and at a certain point you can see that this game which you are playing right now is quite similar to the previous game that you have played. In that case, you will try to use the same moves so as to win again. So this is quite a similar situation here also, that in this case, when we are not in the final state of the game, v of b is equal to v of b dash, where b dash is the best final board state that can be achieved starting from b and playing optimally until the end of the game. Then choosing a representation for the target function. So in the target function, we must choose a representation that the learning program will use to describe the function and to see what it learns. For any given board state, the function will be calculating a linear combination of the following board features. So there are 6 board features: x1 number of black pieces, x2 number of red pieces, x3 number of black kings, x4 number of red kings, then x5 number of black pieces threatened by red, and x6 the number of red pieces threatened by black. So thus our learning program will represent v dash of b as a linear function of the form v of b is equal to w0 plus w1 x1 plus w2 x2 till w6 x6. So partial design is ready for the checkers learning program. So what do we have till now? We have a task which is playing checkers. We have performance measure, which is P, that is percentage of games won in the world tournament. Then we have training experience, games played against itself. Then we have target function, which is V board, and this board gives results, so R. Then target function representation is somewhat like w0 plus w1. We did that till w6 x6. So now we have to choose a function approximation algorithm. So in order to learn the target function, we require a set of training examples, each describing a specific board state and the training value for b. In other words, each training example is an ordered pair of the form b, v train of b. So, for instance, the following training example describes a board state B in which black has won the game. So you can see here that x2 is equal to 0, which means there are no red pieces remaining on the board. And since black has won, so the target function is therefore plus 100. Now you can see here x1 is equal to 3, which means there are 3 black pieces left. x2 is equal to 0, which means there are 0 red pieces left. x3 is equal to 1, which means 1 black king is left. x4 is equal to 0, which means 0 black kings are left. Then x5 is equal to 0, which means 0 black pieces are threatened by red. And x6 is equal to 0, which means 0 red pieces are threatened by black. And here this was the first argument, which is b. Now v train of b will be plus 100. Now we need to adjust the weights. Adjusting the weights means how to change or update the weights, something like that. So all that remains is to specify the learning algorithm for choosing the weights to best fit the set of training examples. So as a first step, we must define what we mean by best fit to the training data. So best fit means whatever is the most optimal solution for a given training data. So now one common approach is to define the best hypothesis or set of weights as such which minimizes the square error. So we have to select a certain set of weights which minimizes the square error between training values and the values predicted by the hypothesis. So it means v train of b and v predicted of b will be subtracted, and then their square will be taken, and the summation will be done of all the squares, which will give us square error. Then LMS weight update rule. So for each training example b comma v train of b, use the current weights to calculate v of b. So for each or v predicted of b, so for each weight wi, update it as wi is equal to wi plus eta into v train of b minus v predicted of b into xi. So here eta is a small constant that moderates the size of weight update. To get an intuitive understanding for why this weight update rule works, notice that when the error v train of b minus v predicted of b is 0, the no weights are changed. Then and when it is positive, and that is when v of b is too low, then each weight is increased in proportion to the value of its corresponding feature. So each weight will be increasing in proportion to the value of its corresponding feature. This will raise the value of v of b, reducing the error. Notice that if the value of some feature is negative, then we can assume that the value of the this value, after subtracting v train of b minus v of b, then we'll get a negative value, and this will decrease the weight. So whenever we are getting a value other than 0, the weight is adjusted in such a manner that it somehow makes it near 0, or the error is near 0. Then the final design, we come to the final design. The final design described by 4 distinct program modules that represent the central components in many ways. So first we have so this is basically a cyclic model. So here we don't have any such end point. So whenever we are doing an experiment, we have to take a new problem, and then we have to pass it to performance system. From there we will take a solution trace, and then we will pass it to the critic. From critic we will take the training examples, and then we will pass it to generalizer, which will give a hypothesis to experiment generator, which will again modify the problem in a manner, and then it will again give to performance system. So this cycle will keep happening till our required accuracy of the model is achieved. Now we come to the performance system. Many machine learning systems can be usefully characterized in terms of these 4 generic modules. So these are the 4 generic modules: the performance system, critic, generalizer, experiment generator. The performance system is the module that must solve the given performance task. So if there is a task, there is a performance system which is supposed to solve that task, and it must solve that task. It takes an instance of a new problem as input and then produces a trace of its solution as output. So in our case, the strategy used by the performance system is to select its next move at each step is determined by the learned v-evaluation method. Therefore, we expect its performance to improve as this evaluation function becomes increasingly accurate. Then comes the critic. Critic takes input as the history or trace of the game or trace of the solution, and then it produces an output which is a set of training examples of the target function. As shown in the diagram, each training example in this case corresponds to some state. So you can see here that each training example corresponds to some state here. And along with that, along with an estimate, we train the target function value for this example. So we also get a we train target function value in each example. So in our example, the critic corresponds to the training rule. Then comes the generalizer. Generalizer takes input as the training examples and produces an output hypothesis that is its estimate of the target function. It generalizes from the specific training examples, hypothesizing a general function that covers these examples and other cases beyond the training examples. In our example, the generalizer corresponds to the LMS algorithm. So the output hypothesis is the function v dash described by the learned weights from W0 to W6. So basically, when generalizer receives a set of training examples, it simply, as its name suggests, it simply generalizes all of the training examples and generates a function. So it is a generic function, so it can be used with uh, any such example or any such problem of a particular model. Then comes the experiment generator. So the experiment generator takes the current hypothesis and outputs a new problem. So basically it helps in the exploration of the model. So this new problem is fed to the performance system to explore. Now, since it is generating new problem every now and then, the performance system is able to see a variety of problems in its like in front of itself. So its role is to pick experiment generator's role is to pick new practice problems that will maximize the learning rate of overall system. Now here the experiment generator follows a very simple strategy. It always proposes the same initial game board to begin a new game. Then more sophisticated strategies could involve creating board positions designed to explore particular regions of the state space. So now here we can see our design choices. So first we determine type of training experiences. So we see that games against expert, table of correct moves, etc. But we select games against self. Then we come to determine target function. We could have used the board to move function, but we have used board to value function, which is the scoring system we just did. Then we wanted to determine representation of learned functions. So we could have used a polynomial or artificial neural network, but if the work was done by a linear function of 6 features, then why bother going in such complex functions. Then we need to determine learning algorithm. So we could have used linear programming as well, but gradient descent was a better approach. So we used gradient descent and then we completed the design. So we have restricted the type of knowledge that can be acquired to a single linear evaluation function. Furthermore, we have constrained this evaluation function to depend on only the 6 specific board features provided. Would the program we have designed be able to learn well enough to beat the human checkers world champion? Probably not. In part, this is because the linear function representation for V dash is too simple a representation to capture well the nuances of the game. So, perspectives or in machine learning. One useful perspective on machine learning is that it involves searching a very large space of possible hypotheses. So there is a variety of hypotheses in this whole world, and you have to search for the optimal one for your like which one best fits for you. So determine one that best fits the observed data and any prior knowledge held by the learner. Then algorithms search a hypothesis space defined by some underlying representation. So all the algorithms usually go for the hypothesis which are defined by some underlying representation. There should be a representation there. In our previous cases, we had the representation of board which gave the correct move or the suggested move from the set of legal moves, and then we updated our function and made it like it took a board state as input and gave back the score. So in this manner, its representation was board gives move and board gives score or value. So we see perspective of learning as a search problem in order to characterize learning methods by their search strategies and by the underlying structure of the search spaces they explore. So we also see that learning is a search problem, and we need to search for the spaces and we also need to search strategies and strategies of how to make it work. Then we have to analyze the relationship between the size of the hypothesis, space to be searched, and the number of training examples available. So we should also keep in mind that what is the learning approach or is the hypothesis we have chosen feasible for us. So we use the size of hypothesis and then we check if the space to be searched is matching with the number of training examples or not. Then issues in machine learning. What are the issues in machine learning? So what algorithms exist for learning general target functions from specific training examples? We need to know what algorithms exist for learning general target functions. In what settings will particular algorithms converge to the desired function given sufficient training data? So we need to know that what algorithms exist for learning general target functions from specific training examples, and what should be the settings for a particular algorithm to work in the best way possible. Then which algorithms perform best for which types of problems and representations, and how much training data is sufficient. Then when and how can prior knowledge held by the learner guide the process of generalizing from examples, and what is the best strategy for choosing a useful next training experience. So these are some issues which need to be faced whenever you are making a machine learning model. Also, how can the learner automatically alter its representation to improve its ability to represent and learn the target function? So this is also important. So these are all the issues that you need to address whenever you are working on your own machine learning model. So this was all. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching.